Tonight's episode, The Endangered Species.
Number 36. So this is another one that I got to pick out of. The ATF says they have a statutory duty to keep firearms out of the hands of criminals. So if they have a statutory duty to do that, and they fail, and a criminal gets their hands on a firearm and then uses it for some illegal means, does that mean we can hold the ATF liable and sue the government?
Seems like we should be able to.
Sounds like it. So number 37.
There we go. Sorry about that.
And pawnbrokers are worried about how to warranty privately made firearms. My concern is, why are local gun shops and pawnbrokers worried about warrantying privately made firearms? It's a used gun in the first place. In my experience, most shops don't offer a warranty on a used firearm. And if they do, it's only for 30 days, and it's like, hey, if it blows up in your hand, let us know or something. Very rarely do you get any sort of warranty on a used firearm. And even still, what concern is it of the ATF to instruct these people on what warranty to offer on these? It seems like that's something that should just be between them and their business. So, number 39, ATF mentions that local gun shops and pawnbrokers are having issues data logging privately made firearms. However, it's been legal to make your own firearm home again since colonial times, and people have been doing this for decades. So why is it only now becoming a issue to data log these things? Firearms made before 1968 don't always have a serial number. Those get logged in somehow. And I have to look at that because number 39 or number 40. So there's still two versions of down there. But why is only now becoming an issue to data log these things? It should have been an issue for a very, very, very long time.
Kinda. Not necessarily. There's nothing to look at. I'm just, instead of looking at nothing, I'm showing you what I'm fiddling with over here, but it's nothing that you need to focus on.
Oh, it's alright. So it gives people something to look at while I'm monkeying around and trying to read. Because I was trying to read these just as I'm going, and I sound like a third grader, so then I just kind of.
So like, I'm gonna sit here working on stuff, and I'm in your chat, right? So
Yep.
I can either turn on a webcam, and then you look at me looking at my computer, and that's boring. So I can run this thing that I'm wiggling around, which is software that runs on my computer, and it watches whatever I tell it to. In this case, I'm telling it to look at one of my monitors. So now I put it over there, and I tell StreamYard that we're in. You and I and Tupperware are in here, right? I tell it to, instead of look at my webcam, look at this software over here. So basically, I'm piping my screen capture into your live chat, and then just for shits and giggles, I started my own live chat, and I'm live on top of your live, in your live, and now I can also do whatever I'm doing, and whenever I feel like it, I'll start recording, and then this will create a file on my computer, a video of my screen, what I do on my screen, and that's how I do those videos that I'll post of how I whatever I happen to be doing, right? Like how you look over my shoulder when I'm doing it. So anyway, just a little explanation of the levels of, I don't know what to call it, that I'm doing here. I basically figure since I got to pipe some video anyway, I might as well pipe it to 3 different sources to have some fun, right?
Heck yeah. Like I said, it gives everybody something to look at while I'm sitting here living with dead air. So number 42, ATF brings up forms 3310.4. If you don't know what form 3310.4 is, that is whenever you purchase. That is whenever you purchase 5 more handguns. You have to tell where to keep to go. My thing is, why did this exist in the first place? Seems like a waste of time and some sort of registry that we don't know about. And most of all, again, like I said, why does it exist in the first place? Because how many people are actually running around and committing crimes after they go and buy handguns? Are they really turning around just to go and traffic them? And again, they provide no statistics or anything else to substantiate anything that they're claiming.
And it seems like, did I mute the right one? It seems like if there was a reason, then by now they would have been able to justify it, right? They've had more than enough time.
And and I were just talking about this before you jumped in. That's one of the things I'm finding with this whole thing is there's so many claims that they come up with throughout this whole wolf proposal for redefining firearms and receivers. However, they give nothing to substantiate anything. Just a few minutes ago, I mentioned the terrorists, and study shows that, or not a study, but studies show that people are worried about terrorists getting hold of these people, but they don't source any of these studies. So if we wanted to go check them out, oh shit. And just time and time again for this whole thing, they continue to do that. I mean, with their logic, I'm the greatest pitcher ever. Nolan Ryan's got nothing on me. What do I have to back it up? Nothing. Just get my word for it. So, if there number 43, if there are no registries, what does it matter if privately made firearms are able to be tracked or not? I realize that they want to track these things for the purpose of trying to figure out who committed a crime when a gun is left at the crime scene. However, my bigger concern is that there's some sort of registry because the 40s are never going to be used in a crime or left at a crime scene or anything else. And even still, of the ones that were found at crime scenes in the last 5 years, which was 23,906 of them, only 151 of them were not able to be tracked. And right now, privately made firearms do not need serial numbers. So again, if 151 in 5 years cannot be tracked, what is the point of needing a serial number? So number 44 is just my little FU to the ATF. If you want to throw a little like, hey, gotcha, type comments at them during this comment period. They keep bringing up, tracking firearms and, that being the reason for needing to serialize everything. Oh, we all know about Operation Fast and Furious, where the government and the Department of Justice gave firearms to drug cartels. How well did it work out when they were supposed to track those? And I'm sure every one of those had serial numbers on them. So number 45, and we're now halfway through, folks. Thanks for sticking around. Very much appreciated. Number 45, ATF claims that another reason for serializing privately made firearms is because they have no identifying features. Apparently, every privately made firearm ever made looks exactly the same. Sounds absolutely blasphemous to me, but apparently it's true. This is what I'm going to say to a lot of folks. They all look the same. It's like Chinese beer. You just can't tell them apart, right? So number 46, ATF missions. Maybe keep these privately firearms out of the hands of persons who may commit crimes other than felons. Well, like so many other times here, they can double define what other persons is. But again, I think the only thing we have to worry about is felons. But if they're out of jail, I don't think I have to worry about that. But under current law, that would be the only thing I think we have to worry about. But they're apparently worried about other people, but they don't define who these other people could be. My assumption is just you and I. Perfectly good law like citizens. Sorry. I haven't heard reading this one.
You write these down on paper, or you got them on a computer?
No, I got it printed out. Apparently, I just worded this one funky. So I'm gonna have to go back and redo that one. But number 48, the ATF mentions that third-party firearms are more dangerous than privately-made firearms. What they're referring to as third-party firearms are firearms that are sold in a private transaction. However, these firearms are more dangerous than privately-made firearms. These firearms do have serial numbers. So what's the actual purpose of having to serialize privately-made firearms, which have no serial number because they're less dangerous already? Number 49 is just asking how does 151 privately made firearms that were untraceable in a 5-year period constitute a public safety issue? That is 3 first states in a 5-year period. That's I don't think that's 150 issue by any stretch of the imagination. So number 50. ATF mentions that proposed rulemaking would actually allow for the making of privately made firearms without serial numbers. So why are we actually worrying about serializing privately made firearms if we're still going to allow them to be made at home without being serialized? Number 41, ATF brings up minimal effort or expertise being needed to make safe into a functioning firearm. With these things would automatically be considered a firearm. You have to go to an FFL to purchase it, all that kind of jazz. And the manufacturers are going to be charged as if they were complete functioning firearms. My question is, what constitutes minimal expertise and or evidence? Once again, another thing that the ATF fails to define. Number 2, is a jig and a hand drill somehow less effective than somebody with a who owns a CNC for milk? The reason I mention this one is, again, goes back to number 51 with the minimal effort and expertise. So, you know, if you just have a jig and a hand drill, is that minimal effort expertise, or having really awesome, expensive equipment that can do a really fine job, little effort expertise. The not finding anything that kind of leaves things open ended.
I would almost say as a purposeful thing because it's the same thing when you look at state legislators and the different pieces of legislation they push through. A lot of them leave it so undefined for that reason. It's to basically be like, oh, and declare emergency, and declare appropriation, all that kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing with all kinds of things in this. People can agree. Does knowledge somehow make for minimal effort and or expertise? So is it just having the knowledge of how to assemble something, or having a set of instructions that make it minimal effort? I know people that you can give them instructions on how to change a tire, they're still not going to get a tire change. So it mentions also that if you have the abilities to take a chunk of plastic or a chunk of metal and finish it and turn it into a working firearm, again with minimal effort or expertise, that's why these are being considered a complete firearm setup. So my question is, if I own a CNC and have the knowledge on how to turn a piece of billet aluminum into an A or lower receiver, and I then go purchase a piece of billet aluminum, with what they're suggesting, that piece of billet aluminum, since I have the ability to do it with minimal effort, and I have the expertise to do it, that piece of billet aluminum should be a firearm, even though it's literally a block.
Well, it's not a firearm. It's just something that can be readily made into a firearm, and therefore it needs to be registered, yes.
Yes.
So here's the thing. Why is it that you need to possess it? What if you're around it? What if you walk into a hardware store and you're just around a bunch of pieces of aluminum that you have the knowledge how to make them into guns?
That's true. I didn't even think about not even needing to possess it, just being around it. Because that's another thing that I had mentioned in this was, what if I knew how to just take a shovel blade and fold that into an AK receiver? I could just walk into Home Depot and have 100 AK receivers at my leisure now.
I feel like since I feel like you know how to do that, I feel like you kind of just threatened us.
I feel like that too. And then also, if that's the case, whenever one of these persons walks into Home Depot or Lowe's or anything like that, that has this knowledge, shouldn't all these places become FFLs?
I think you're onto something, that they should be required to be gun shops if someone who knows how to make a gun goes into them.
Yeah. And now, which, while we're on it, because I got it down here somewhere, there's a 3D printer thing going on now where you can actually turn a Nerf gun into a functioning 22 long rifle gun. So is Walmart and Toys R Us and all these other places that sell Nerf guns going to have to become FFLs because I can just go to the button on a 3D printer and swap out a couple things and now have a 22 long rifle Okay.
I'm not really worried about the stores because corporations never do anything wrong. But what I am worried about is all the felons. Because unless you can prove to me that you're not going to turn that Nerf gun into a gun, then I believe you're a felon and you shouldn't even be in Target.
For sure. So, what you're suggesting is we need to do background checks just to go into Target or Walmart or any of those places.
At least until you can prove that you don't know how to make a gun out of the stuff that's in the place that you're trying to go into. For safety.
So, if you're hungry, you're pretty much going to go Whole Foods. But no, I don't think that's reasonable because, like, up here, we have to have snow removal. So, surely they're going to have a shovel laying around. Somewhere in the back, if I can gain access to the shovel and have a Whole Foods. Sorry about that.
I saw a show about this. That's what happens when a dog doesn't get enough belly rubbins. They'll wake up out of a sleep like that when they don't get enough belly rubbins.
Yeah, I was trying to get over to the Billy Robinson. Outside. Hey, Jim, I'm just thinking to go over on the travel so hey, sorry about this.
No, it's pretty bad right now.
Not surprising. Say this is pretty dry stuff. Still got 10 washes. We get 10 emails. And while I'm searching for where it was, I'll just throw out the caveat again. If you want a copy of this list, I can email it, I can print it off,